Alright, this is my first attempt at doing some ASMR with a face cam and my Blue Yeti. Really, it was just some trial and error stuff. We want to see if this is going to work so I can do it in the future. For now, let's get started with some sounds. That might or might not sound good or not. We're just testing out different things. I can also try to speak in a softer tone if that helps with the auditory bit of ASMR. But for now, we're just really testing out the functions and stuff like that, so please bear with me if this is subpar, not of quality. I know these sounds usually work for me and they help me sleep quite a bit. Tapping and liquid sounds, because they're kind of unpredictable sometimes. You don't really know exactly how they're going to work, so I find it to be one of the things that does work for me. I do have some random stuff around my desk we're going to be playing with today, so gotta have a hydro flask. I got some cool stickers on these guys, well, in my opinion. But let's see if we can't get some good sound out of this guy. I also like some of these gripping noises. They work for me. A little bit of scratching here and there also does it for me. But I find it to be some of the most effective ASMRs when I don't kind of know what's going to happen with it or where they're going with it. So, that's what it is. I'm so glad that I cleaned out this flask, because if I didn't, it would probably smell gross. Good thing I have other random stuff we can probably toy with here. Let's see. I know book sounds usually work pretty well for me. So what we can do is grab a simple book we have here. Everybody knows Lord of the Flies. I'm sure many of us were required to read this in our high school education. But it's actually not a bad book. It's a short novel, kind of tells the point. It hits the notes it wants to hit. And, it's enjoyable. Can just do a little bit of gripping. Susan Collins, the author of Hunger Games, said, "Lord of the Flies is one of my favorite books. This was a big influence on me as a teenager. I still read it every couple of years." So, Stephen King, man. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine that a lot of famous authors and such haven't seen or read this book. It's just kind of something I imagine they would have come across in their trials. Let's see if we can get another item that might make sounds we might not expect. Because like I said, those are the best ones to me. I have this over here, which is my Tony Stark shades from Spider-Man Far From Home. And they're a little dirty because I need to clean the lenses, but nothing too crazy with these guys. Very cool. The Edith glasses, I think, was the name from the movie. I also have another very cool Iron Man related item. This came from, my hair's getting in my face here. This one came from a contest Marvel did where on their commercials at certain timestamps you'd have to pause the screen and you'd see different information. And in that would be coordinates that you had to search on either MapQuest or wherever you looked, Google Maps. And there was a picture on the Google Maps that you would have to look at that gave you information to a website to follow to. And they sent you commemorative Avengers cans. I got all of them. I had the Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Man, and there was one, Captain America. But they were kind of taking up space, so I only ended up keeping the Iron Man one. I just didn't want to have too much clutter around everywhere. I figured it was easier to just keep one of them as opposed to all of them. I got something else we can play with here. Minecraft. I'm sorry, the light's a little bright on that. Minecraft, which produces some nice tapping sounds when you play with it like this. Another cool thing is, I think, at least opening it produces some interesting sounds with the edges of the disc on skin off the container. So, you definitely get some interesting sounds off of this guy. Ooh, there's some interesting clicks. Let's try to close that without making it too loud. Don't want that to end up being a huge thing. So let's see what else we have around here. I didn't plan. I'm just kind of, shooting at the hip with this. But I do have a lot of stuff around my desk. So I know this looks like a Grecian urn, and that's because it sort of is. It's a Kratos urn. From one of the God of War loot boxes. I had to get this one on eBay because it was hard to come by outside of the loot box that wasn't being sold anymore. But I saw this on the Corey Barlog Twitter account, and I had to have it. So I found it at a good price online, and I've been in love with it ever since. It's one of the few things I have collectibles of that I really enjoy. I think, let's see what else we have. I have this guy, which I'm not sure what kind of sounds we can kind of get out of it, but maybe feathery kind of sounds. Shout out to Robin Williams. I believe it was just an anniversary celebrating his life. Beautiful soul, great comedian. Who can forget Genie? Oh, there's some sounds. There we go. A little bit of tapping sounds and such. I also have quite a bit of other things, honestly. Let's see what else we got going on here. A candle, and I think this makes some cool sounds too, because different areas are going to sound different by volume, and it's got a texture on this that allows you to kind of get a little scratching going on. Ooh, there's a lid sound. It's almost sounds like slime, doesn't it? And it's just the seal on the candle that kind of makes that sound. Sorry about that. Some scratching sounds in here. Nothing too crazy, and then we got... I wish you could smell this through the microphone, but it's really good. It's like cinnamon cloves, and it's cinnamon and clove buds, and it's really good. I don't have a ton of candles, or do a ton of candle things, but cinnamon smells I'm big on. Love the smells of cinnamon. Suppose we can have a little fun with my cellular device too, because I have a pop socket on this guy. And this thing is so much fun to play with. It used to be a Death Star once upon a time. It's kind of hard to tell with this lighting, but I've rolled it across so many surfaces and spun it that it's just lost its color or design. It's a metal one, so like the metal surface gets scratched up. But yeah, it makes some interesting sounds. I have this. We'll see what we can do with it. I was spiking and my front reflector was kind of messed up, and I just had to take this one off. It came new one, but it just wasn't hanging because there's a little bit of a broken part there, so it's sitting in my room until I can figure out if I'm gonna try to. I could probably just glue this piece back into it, and that'd make it fit right back on with no problem, as opposed to just tossing it, because I would like to have a reflector on the front. It's not as important as the back, certainly, but definitely when biking you want to make sure you have all your safety equipment and stuff set up. You don't want to end up in a place where you're hurt. And this is probably something we can do. Let's do this one now. I also have some Game of Thrones stuff here, and I know this will produce an interesting sound. So we have Jon Snow. Need to be cleaned off. He's a little dirty. But little Jon Snow Pop Funko. Nothing crazy about this guy. But I do have this thing here, which is the House Sigil for House Lannister, and I just knocked it off of its wood thing. House Sigil for House Lannister, and on the other side, I believe this is the Dornish one. If I'm not mistaken, I thought the Dornish symbol had the spear through the sun. This could be something in the north. I'm having some trouble with remembering on that right now. It's been a minute since Game of Thrones. I've never been crazy about these things, but I know something really about fabric. Like I said, a bit of that random ASMR stuff kind of, for me, does it. Because sometimes if it's too predictable, I can't quite get into the swing of the sound. Sometimes it's just weird. Yeah, I'm weird about that. Even if I like the sound, I don't think we're going to get much of a sound off of this little guy, but oh, maybe. It's an interesting sound for sure. But I love this little thing. It's like a sticky llama, and I just keep it on my desk. It doesn't really do anything, but I like having it. This right here is a small sword stand for the sword Oathkeeper from Game of Thrones. I don't know if you can kind of see the little hilt there. I have a mini Oathkeeper and I have a mini Longclaw that I have on my desk because I think they're cool. They're technically letter openers, but they're swords. I don't care. But they make some interesting small metal sounds. They brush up against each other, so I figured it might be worthwhile for this to try them out, you know. So let's put those guys back, and then we're gonna try maybe one more sound before we call this video quits. Something different than we've done. I know. I have these Dragonese Inquisition deck of cards, and it's not exactly different than we've done, but it does have interesting designs and insignias on it. I think it's really cool. I haven't really opened it to play it too much because I don't want to ruin them. They're just really pretty cards. Maybe we'll do another one where I actually open them, we make some card sound ASMR and do that. But for now, it's just going to be a little bit of tapping and scratching to round this guy off. See, it's just a little bit of the wrapper still on the top of it because I haven't really taken all of it off on this. But yeah, I think that is a sufficient amount of ASMR sounds for now. I don't want to. This guy's actually connected to the computer, so let's not toy around with him too much. But yeah, all that being said, thank you for coming by and enduring my face for the first face stream we're doing with this. Yeah, like and subscribe if you want to see more content. I'm going to try to be more consistent with the ASMR content. And yeah, just leave a comment if there's anything you'd like to see me do. I'm open to suggestions and all that stuff. So with that being said, have a lovely night, and